Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night chat. Luckily, I have power today. I was out without power yesterday, and when I left for work this morning, I didn't have power. I was just crossing my fingers and hoping I'd have it when I got home, and luckily we did. I did, and so here we are. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. I'm going to start with a crazy Scotsman. Go right ahead. I'll let you do an intro if you'd like to.
All right. I appreciate you having me on as always, TR. It's always good to be on here with the rest of the panel. And always good to interact with everyone in the side chat. So once again, just appreciate you having me on, brother.
Glad you could join us. Daniel, would you like to do an intro?
Well, hi, everybody. Daniel, guys, my judge, and sorry for the feedback there. I forgot to mute the other channel, the other screen. My bad.
Very easy to do. We do it too sometimes. That's not that uncommon of an event. Blue, would you like to do an intro or anything coming up? Whatever, you know the drill. Go ahead.
Nothing really going on, just making a couple of videos here. Just a real quick shout out to our buddy Tom Olafson. Check out his channel. I won one of the prize packs on his giveaway, which was the Western Cross Trail. I did a video, I just haven't posted it yet, but thanks for that. And I want to do a quick shout out for Tom. He's a great guy, donates a lot of his time, energy, money to charities such as the Fisher House that was held down at Farmageddon, as you guys can see as TR. And I believe that Tom's giveaway or the package he provided for CMAX through the Scotsman is coming up tomorrow night, I believe. So that's awesome. Great guy.
Yes, he is. And that's why I was showing his shirt off, because he showed up at Farmageddon with a trunk load of these things and just gave them to Pops. You know, it's like, oh, here, do whatever you want to do with them. You know, so man, Pops just kind of gave them out. You know, it's all honor system. Make a donation, get a T-shirt, and whatever. You know. Anyway, well, Rosie, would you like to do an outro, and you can go ahead and just spin off anything that's on your mind.
Yeah, it's going to be a short one tonight. It's good to see everybody. Scotsman, I'm honored to be on with you for the first time. It's very nice to meet you. And for Blue must be on the Disney World hot sheet emailing list. He announced that Disney World will be reopening on Thursday for all you folks that will fight your way back down to Florida. Exciting news. And let me just say, as far as people I know, I don't think anybody got hurt. There might have been some slight loss of a little bit of flooding, maybe having to change that, a little bit of sheetrock and stuff, but thank goodness nobody we really know within the community seemed to be injured or really took it on the chin in a big way, and I think that's a great thing. The size of that storm was huge, that hurricane, and I don't think that in the initial stages, although there wasn't the flooding that, as TR mentioned, when the hurricane goes over the land, it rapidly sort of degrades because it loses its energy pack, so to speak. So the back wall of the eye really didn't have the punch. So people got the front wall, and then they were pleasantly surprised that they didn't get much on the back end. But I think when it's all said and done, even though the individual claims might not be huge and the videos might not be catastrophic, it could be one of those things that the total creeps up very high when all is said and done, because instead of a few people having a lot of damage, I think it's going to look more like a lot of people having a little bit of damage, and I think that it's going to end up being a very, very expensive event. So, but I don't think that there was much in the way of loss of life, which is a good thing. Yes, Linda mentioned the Keys down there, and of course you may have heard reports some of the Caribbean down there devolved into a little bit of lawlessness on San Martin and some of the other islands down there, because if you're short of water and other things and you're starting to get desperate, it's going to devolve into a prepping situation. I'm not going to get into. I know TR wants to talk about prepping tonight, but in terms of financial impact, the jury is still out on that, and being on top of Houston, it's going to be a while before the tally is told. There's just, I don't think, enough adjusters to go around between two mega states like Texas and Florida. Now, in terms of the market, I expected us to have another big charge at the all-time highs to try to regain the high ground here. So I'm not surprised at the rally that's taken place this week. A lot of that was relief that at least in the initial stages, it wouldn't look like the insurance companies would have to sell down on their portfolios of stocks and bonds to raise a whole lot of money, but who knows when going forward. Also, a lot of people were excited. Apple announced their iPhone X today, which I don't know. It's more doing with it's what they call a perception phone, in the way that you're going to do videos and things like that. I don't know. And for $1,000, how much takeoff? Of course, there'll be early adopters. All the media that will be there with cameras while people stand in line to get their the latest and greatest iPhone. The big question is, of course, is how far does a bubble build? And we've said before that, I've said repeatedly over the last 7 months in particular, that if the oldest rule in investing is buy low and sell high, and it's also one of the hardest things to do. But when somebody's putting something on sale and offering you something for $5, it's far different than if they're offering it to you for $25. And there's a lot of stuff being sold for $25 that should really be sold for $10 a day today. But it's just a question of how far does something have to go before reality sets in. And that's I was watching CNBC a bit today, and they had a person that I really admire a lot on there talking about the investing. They also had an interview with Jamie Dimon, you may not like JP Morgan Chase. I get it, big bank, but he's been very sensible about a lot of things, and talking about valuations and disappointments in Washington and what that's going to potentially lead to. I think there's going to be an impact on that. But the guy I was listening to today was Julian Robertson, and he has a long 45, 50-year plus career through many cycles. And he's just stymied by the lack of things that look cheap to buy out there. And I just feel the same way. So I don't know what it'll be tomorrow. I don't know whether it'll be a month from now, but I just know if you're investing for the long haul and thinking about things like that, you've got to be able to buy things when they're cheap and sell them when they're dear. Right now, if you buy now, you're buying dear and you're paying inflated prices. Now, I do like gold and silver, even in this little pullback we had so far this week. Gold is still comfortably above $1,300 an ounce. And silver is still knocking on the door around $18 an ounce. They haven't yielded too much ground at all, and that kind of excites me. One thing that Julian Robertson talked about too that's concerning is we just can't seem to get interest rates to go up in a meaningful way. And the longer they stay down, the more dangerous and more potentially lethal a bubble can be as it builds here. So that's about all I have. I'm just glad most people came through things safe. A lot of people we know, as TR, are down south, and it's never fun to go through hurricanes. But what I've heard so far, and I think Pop's got nailed a little bit, Pop's Quest and a few other people, but I'm pleased because people first and then things. That's the important thing. So that's really all I have. If anybody has anything on the side chat, but other than that, that's about it tonight.
Just real quick, do you think let me see if I can word this right, our ability to pay back our debt, being that it's over $20 trillion now, do you think that has any influence on them keeping it low? Because if they go up, it'll put the United States in a bad spot for as paying interest on the $20 trillion? You think it has something to do with it? I mean, I'm just.
I can't say it. I can't say it's not TR. I'll grant you that. There's no way that anybody could stand there with a good conscience and tell you no way that they could ever attempt to do something like that. I mean, who knows what evil lurks in the heart of central bankers and other things, but I do know that the worldwide market for borrowing is worldwide, and it's very hard for one country to sort of trump another. In other words, capital flows pretty freely around the world, and it's going to go to the place where it has the highest return with the lowest perceived risk. So it's often the case that Japanese 10-year securities, 10-year loans to Japan pay much less than the United States because the perceived risk of lending to Japan is much tinier. So they don't have to pay as much to attract the money. So if the U.S. was going to run that kind of operation, they're really competing against the rest of the world in terms of needing to borrow money and things like that. I just think today in industry, in mainstream industry, I'm not talking about low-end retailing, building a local Popeyes Louisiana chicken or a low-end service place that's going to be a fast food restaurant or a Dollar Tree. I'm talking about real good paying industry out there. There's not the capital borrowing needs out there for expanding and creating those type of businesses today. You look at the high technology, you don't need a lot of capital to build large factories and things to produce a product that you can send over the internet in a matter of seconds. You can see how society is sort of evolving, that maybe we don't need as much capital going forward. There's a surplus of capital out. This is what I think is keeping rates low, because there's just no other place that's attractive, especially for pensions and things like that have to allocate their money, to be diversified between, say, bonds and stocks and foreign holdings and things like that. So they probably have as much stock as they can carry, but there's not enough shortage of there's not enough people needing to borrow money to really drive it up. So it really leaves the U.S. in a lucky position, I think. How long will that last? It lasts as long as people perceive that the risk is low, which they think it is at this particular time. But if stuff gets sticky and people perceive the risk is higher of lending to governments and they just seem like they can't handle the debt, then of course they're going to be jumping out of, bonds is a huge bubble too. You don't go from 18% on a 30-year bond to 3% without building in a lot of risk in there that things could reverse and people could lose a lot of money on that. But is it contrived? I really don't think so. I think that they're just lucky at this point.
Okay, I got a question for Linda. I'm sorry, TR, if I'm tramping on you. Now, I read something about the last week about China was going to start buying oil in their currency or with gold. Now, when Libya tried that, well, they got to have a change of government somehow. But now if that kicks in, if they start, because we have a petrodollar, that's what the U.S. has. So if they start doing that, that could be one of those key factors that could make our bubble pop. I mean, what do you think?
TR spoke about that a couple of years ago, the U.S. dollar being basically a petrodollar. My feeling is it's inevitable that another currency also has to rise. I mean, currencies rise in line with their financial and economic standing. And China's currency is going to be important in the future. It's going to probably be a bedrock of one of the big traded currencies. So I wouldn't be surprised if, for me, Daniel, I wouldn't be surprised if countries were willing to say, hey, we're open to other mediums of exchange besides the U.S. dollar. To me, it just seems smart. They're holding all this, everything they're getting dollars, and they're just sitting on these dollars. They got really no idea where to put all that money. So they would like to diversify and get oil purchased in something besides US dollars, so they have some diversification in what they're holding.
Iran and Iraq did that too, Daniel.
I'm really up on this. I was in the financial field from 1980 until 1995. I was on Financial News Network, the front runner to CNBC back in 1985. So I've been around the horn a lot with this stuff, and it's something that I follow as, you know, in terms of not every day, but just in terms of just doing big moves every once in a while and trying to find value. And I'm struggling right now. I am really struggling, but that's kind of a little bit about my background. I have a MBA and a BA and an MBA. So that's kind of my background. I've been involved with finance for many years.
Okay, everyone's going quiet. The reason, well, I just keep my ears open because, you know, when he had the internet bubble going, that's when I first got in the stock market. I started out with $600. They said you know, like one of the officers at work said, "Hey, you're doing pretty good. I made $2,000 in a week with that $600." Well, it was getting up to $6,000 and $20,000 before I went to work every morning because I lived on the West Coast at that time. But I knew it was a bubble. And that's how I played it. Play it, ride the waves. And it was just, you know, 1 hour purchases and sells. Well, I dumped that out and I bought a house at the beginning of the housing market on a house that was on the Beltway on the south side of DC. And you know that was a bubble because you had the previous bubble. Now we're sitting on the biggest bubble that's going to pop. And that's what's really it's going to be worse than a Great Depression, what's coming. I mean, I just keep my ears open, all. I'm going to hit mute.
No, I think that you're correct. I mean, we talked about this before, that you now have a generation of people that really don't know prosperity in this country. You know, all they know is student loans and crap in Washington, D.C. and economic problems. And they've never seen a world with normal interest rates. They've never seen a normalized economic world where a long bond is 6% and a T-bill is 3%. I mean, they've not seen this kind of world, and it starts to screw with people's thinking, and it starts to make people make bad deductions and bad conclusions and wrong conclusions about things. This is what concerns me. This is the world economic markets are so abnormal now that they are truly a bubble. And the only thing that we have is the recognition that some companies are doing well, the Boeings of the world, a lot of the companies that are concentrated in the Dow 30, the McDonald's, the Apples, the Googles, the companies like that, they're doing well and they're huge pools of value. But apart from that, beyond those first tier, there's a struggle to try to grow business. There's a struggle to try to increase profitability. That's where I think the war is being lost, and it's not really getting the headlines that the big companies are getting. And I fear when things recede that it's going to happen in a very quick way when this bubble pops, that everybody will recognize suddenly the emperor has no clothes. We overpaid for, you know, a future we always assumed would be bright and growing. And, you know, sooner or later, we're going to stall in here. It's just like an aircraft, we're going to stall and then we're going to nosedive and it's going to be ugly. But, you know, like Linda's like me. Every day I sit here with cash in hand and I want to do something, but the values just aren't there. Sure, I do a little Camping World stocks like that, but I'm just saying the real things that you can tell somebody, hey, this is like a once or twice in a lifetime thing. They're not there right now. Everything is fully valued because interest rates are so freaking low. So the big question is, will they stay low? Probably not. Something's going to happen to upset the apple cart, and then look out.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, but it's a big unknown now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about all you can say. I mean, and for the people that say kill the Fed, you know, at times the Fed has been heroic, and then other times they've been a disaster. So it's kind of to me, it's just a mixed, it's just a tarnished sort of being. Sometimes you're glad it's there, and other times you hate the fact that the Fed is there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I mean, that system was set up to fail for failure from the get-go, and we're kind of riding it out. That's basically all we're doing. You can't pay a credit card off with a credit card. It just doesn't work.
You can't. But see, we've gone through a generation that thinks you can now. So that's a difference. We're losing our anchors in reality here as time goes by. There's few people left to tell the rational story.
Yep. All right. Okay. That's about half hour. I just wanted to talk about prepping just for a minute or a few minutes, and then we can move on to something else. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but with the hurricanes hitting Texas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, I mean, it's affected so much of the South. How many people are still, they freak out and they go and empty their damn grocery stores? I know I posted on Facebook, it's like, okay, I've been prepping for a few years. I never said the world was going to end. I just prepped for bad shit that could happen. The only thing I got to do is buy extra beer for this hurricane. That was it. And of course, mostly YouTube people that saw my Facebook, commented or thumbs up or whatever the hell they do. And your thoughts, y'all can take turns. What are your thoughts on, especially people that live on the coast, or especially people that live in Florida? It's like, how many hurricanes do you have to go through before you realize, you know what, I should have 2 cases of water, set back. I should have some canned goods. I should have some extra gasoline. I should have a generator, And
I'll tell you, one of the big things I saw when I was in Georgia, for example, I spent a couple of years out there before I transferred again. But one of the big things I saw out there was exactly just like you said, TR. They'd all rush out and start buying generators. They'd all start rushing out, buying water, and running, buy camping gear and all kinds of crap. They'd all be rushing at the last minute, hoping they'd find it, and before you know it, we'd be sold out of generators, we'd be sold out of this, be sold out of that, and you'd have all these people that were just last minute deals. And they've lived there most of their lives, if not all their lives, and still don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to prepare to live 3 years without walking outside, but a couple of weeks ain't that hard to do.
I personally think some people just don't want to spend money unless they absolutely have to. I just don't think they want to shell out a thin dime. They just want to go to Popeye's Louisiana chicken and spend the money there and just wait till the shit hits the fan or right on top of them. Then they all run out at the last minute.
But with the price gouging and stuff, wouldn't it make sense even just to, like TR saying, get 2-3 cases of water at $5 a case rather than wait till the storm's about to hit and then these assholes jack the price up to.
Well, we could say the same thing. Wouldn't it be nice if we all put aside money for retirement, had some savings and stuff? But it almost seems antiquated these days to think like that and just spend what you got and that's it. So, if everybody was like you, Blue, we wouldn't be in that fucked up state that everything is these days. So maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I can't say a whole lot about retirement on that. I'm not really prepared for retirement, but But I'll eat.
I use that as just an example. You know, who saves for anything anymore? You just go put it on time. You know.
Yeah, it just, like I said, the coastal, like where I'm at, okay, I can kind of see it. We don't really have natural disasters that much where I live. That last, I mean, on extreme, a few weeks, we've had some really bad snow, you know, a regular snow for blue, but here we don't have snow plows and shit enough to take care of a really big snow. So, you know, a snow ice storm can, you know, screw us up for a little while. But even that, I mean, like I said, I think I said earlier, you know, my power was out for over 24 hours, a little over 24 hours. People freak out over that shit. You know, I mean, I lit a kerosene lantern and played around on my phone. I still had phone service. If I didn't have phone service, I'd have grabbed a book and would have read a book. You know, I mean, or, you know, I don't freak out about it. It didn't freak me out, you know?
I think part of the problem, TR, is a lot of people nowadays, and especially kids nowadays, are raised where everything is a necessity. They have to have this, they have to have that, and they can't get away with just the basics. Reading a book, you know, not worrying about TV or their computer or anything like that. And I know you got YouTubers talking about don't worry about this shit, but seriously, it's getting back to basics, and that's one thing that a lot of the next generation really don't understand is basic stuff and how to live with basic stuff.
Well, that's for true. I mean, how many people are going to pitch themselves out the window because they can't watch Game of Thrones coming up or something? So that's the world we live in today. And what the hell's a book anyway?
Well, I know I talked to he was my brother-in-law. I don't know what it makes him now, but anyway, I guess he's still, I don't know, whatever it is. He's my friend. I talked to him a little while on the phone last night, you know, and well, I called him on the way home, and he was playing Monopoly with his kids. One of them is, his son is like driving age now, like 15, 16, and his daughter's a little bit younger than that. And they were playing Monopoly. They didn't have power. He had some LED lanterns and or lights, whatever. And he's like, well, let me call you back. Or well, okay, I'll call you when I get home. You know, and I talked to him for a little while when I got home, and they were fine. You know, I mean, I know there's still the younger generation, but at the same time, you know, I mean, he's a pretty good dad and got pretty well level-headed kids, and they were having fun playing a game of Monopoly, you know, with LED lights, you know, lanterns or whatever. And so there's good kids out there. I'm sure it still probably irritated the hell out of them. They couldn't get on the damn internet, but at the same time, they had enough raising that they could have fun with their dad playing Monopoly, you know. And he was good. I mean, he's not a prepper, but at the same time, he has caught on a little bit, and he's got a full blown camper. I mean, hell, they could just went out in the camper, turned propane on, and you know, lived in that for a day or two. But it was like, no, we're good. We got a couple lanterns. We're all right, you know.
Now, do we, since we're kind of talking about natural disasters and stuff, do we have anybody on the panel or in the side chat that's even close to where all these ungodly wildfires are happening?
Thankfully, they're northwest of where we are, so north.
But I mean, it's every year it seems like the same areas or the same locale gets hit by those, but all we ever hear about really is, oh my God, here comes the hurricane, here comes the massive tornadoes. The wildfires actually get, I think, less media time, but yet they are probably more devastating in the long run than any of the other natural disasters.
I don't know, babe. I'm hugging the San Andreas fault, so I'll get back to you on that
Yeah, when that bitch lets go, you let us know how it worked out for you.
When that lets go, I might not be on for over a year.
Those droughts have been going on for how long out there in California and the West Coast? The droughts, Rosie?
They really got what the droughts were this past winter we had. Daniel, was so much rain, all of our reservoirs were brought up. The drought is gone. That's probably one reason we haven't had any big fire problems here yet. They've had it down south around LA. They didn't have the moisture we had. So we've been kind of lucky so far with the lack of wildfires. Now, I know up in Western Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, they've just been hammered with the air all over Canada going eastward is just saturated with smoke and the smell of smoke. We've been lucky here, but our drought, to answer your question, our drought is officially ended here now.
That's good that you got a reprieve. See, my prepping is I follow the Sam Kinison rules. And way back in the day, you had Sally Struthers doing the whole feed the little guy out in the mud puddle. Sam says, pick him up, put him on a bus, go where the food's at. Well, that's where I live right now. I went to where the food is at, out here in the flyover country, away from all that. And teaching the kids how to can, how to garden. I mean, going out there hunting. And you just, okay, try to pull them away from electronics as much as possible. And the easiest way to do that is boom. I don't carry any money at home, so every time they ask for money, it's just like, well, you better go out there and make some money if you want that.
There you go. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as bad as the general population of the younger generation is, I think I hope. Let me take it back. Let me rephrase that. I hope there's enough people raising their kids the best they can. I know I talk to guys at work and stuff, and there's even some of them, they're like, well, they're in that age group and they've gone to college and this liberal bashing, they're getting bombarded with this. I'm just hoping that the way I raised them, they can sift through it and, kind of, weigh it out and understand what's going on for real. And that's probably all they can do as a parent,
Yeah, it's going to come down to it. The financial side, it's going to collapse.
It was set up to fail from the get-go.
So if you're prepared to grow raise your own food and like that, that's the best that's the best situation you can be under, as long as the government doesn't tax you out of your own home.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you can't prepare for.
That's true. I don't know. I just getting back to the prepping thing. Not that I think everybody should be a prepper, but to a point, you should be. If you're gonna run out of food in 3 days, come on. That ain't the way we were raised. Or at least if you had grandparents. If you're my age and you had grandparents, I remember watching my granny, cook up grape jelly, can that, and they were always peppers and garlic and onion hanging in the porch, and it was enclosed porch. But anyway, that ain't. In some ways, it was the way we were raised, but it's not the way our parents were raised. You know what I mean? That convenience of the grocery store got to be too easy. Right. And it spilled over to me, because I know when I first bought this property and put this place here, my dad was like, oh, you need a garden and you need this and this and this. And I was like, I just go to the grocery store. What are you talking about? When I was in my 20s. And I didn't get it, and it took years to kind of like get back. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I do need to do that, and I got into canning. I hadn't done that in a couple of years, but when I started putting back food and stuff, and it's like, yeah, why are we not doing this now? I mean, it's stupid not to. I mean,
Oh yeah,
It's hard,
got
hard work, and you cannot check Facebook when you're in the garden pulling the beans and doing all that other shit.
you can make videos.
Just like TR was saying, man. It's a different generation now. I mean, when I grew up, I was lucky. I worked on a farm when I was younger, so I was taught how to garden. I was taught how to fend for myself, how to feed myself, how to do this, how to do that. And I learned all of that on the farm. Now, my parents didn't have squat to do with that. That was all the guy I worked for took the time to teach me and show me and help me out. And it made me a better person. That's for sure.
Yeah, this year I got some 36 gallons of potatoes that I raised. So for a family of 4, that's going to be enough to take care of us for about 3 months. If you have one meal of potatoes a day. Deer season's kicking in at the end of the month. So right there is the meat. I can that also. I can about 70% of it, because if the power goes out, I don't want to lose the stuff in the freezer. So, I mean, right there is meat and potatoes. And not my weak spot is I need to grow tomatoes, get some more carrots, some more greens, because that's what's going to be hurting us. So to make up for that, it's just multivitamins.
And that's actually, you make a very valid point, which I don't do. I actually do zero of. I can the stuff out of the garden, the tomatoes, the peppers, all that other stuff. But I've never canned deer meat. And you make a very valid point. You lose electricity, and all my shit's in the freezer. I mean, my freezer, whenever I like the ice chest freezer, I don't know how big it is, but basically all I did was put a platform in my freezer, and I put gallon jugs of water halfway full, and I lined it through the bottom. And then I put a platform on top of that. So that's going to give me an extra, from what I'm reading, 2 weeks. I've never had to test it, but they say that if you line it with at least 8 half-gallon jugs of water and it freezes, if your power goes out and you very minimally, you know what you're reaching in for when you reach in for it, it can extend the life of your freezer for 3 weeks. I don't know if that's completely true, but that's what I'm reading.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. We just put the whole gallon of plastic jugs. We fill them all the way up, sit in there. And if they split and break while they're in the freezer, well, who cares? They're a block of ice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just arrange everything in your freezer so you know exactly where it's at. So as soon as you open it, you're reaching in, you grab it, and you close it. You're not gawking in there like everybody does at the refrigerator.
Right.
And I will say the only meats I've canned is hamburger meat and chicken. And I can tell you, if you take the chicken I've done was drumlets, like little chicken, what you would call hot wings or whatever, and you get the little drumlets or whatever. And they are awesome canned. The hamburger meat, I did it raw pack, and it kind of turned out mushy. It still tasted great, probably good for a chili or to add to something. I mean, it wasn't that good to use just as hamburger meat or whatever, but it would have been good for a casserole or whatever.
Hamburger and rice.
Yeah, well, don't can it raw like that. I mean, you lose your own texture. I'd put it in.
Yeah,
I brown it up. I throw some garlic in it, and then I go ahead and pressure can it. And then it's good for sloppy joes, spaghetti sauce, and all that.
Yeah, it turned out mushy. I mean, it was my first go at it, and it worked, but it's like it's too soft, and whatever. But the chicken turned out great, and I literally just shoved the little drumlets into a jar with no water and just done it raw. That turned out great. That stuff was so tender and it tasted so good. Put a little salt with it and blah blah blah. The chicken turned out great.
B-Borg wants to know how Elroy feels about that.
Yeah, what was in your jar?
What's that, Rosie?
What was in the jar that you put the drumlets in? What was in it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just put the little drumlets in the jars, and you'd be surprised how much fat and moisture it'll bring out. I mean, the jar will fill up about halfway with liquid just from the drumlets itself. And but as long as you do it right, it'll it'll seal up. You're good. It doesn't matter that some of it, because it kind of escapes the gas, the air, and but it comes out. It's so tender and so good. You can make chicken and dumplings or whatever with it.
You just sound hungry.
The one year right after deer season, I was big into drying everything, like making it all into like beef jerky and like drying it. I'll tell you, that was like the worst. I mean, for some situations, I'm sure it'd be great, but for long term, that I don't know about you guys, but like whenever I would do deer jerky and stuff like that, you can only eat that for so long before your teeth, like my gums would start swelling up, because I mean, it's, it's dried meat, it's chewy, I'd have bleeding gums. But I loved it so much, I just kept eating it. But the jerky, I don't think it really lasts as long. It's better to can it. I mean, canning's probably the best, followed by, I hate to say freezing it, but then freezing it and then jerky. Because if it's frozen and shit hits the fan, you can still do stuff with it prior to it going bad. But dehydrating it still seems like the shelf life isn't, well, maybe if you dehydrate it and then vacuum pack it, but now I'm starting to think too much, damn it.
Yeah, unless you can freeze dry it. Yeah, just dehydrating it, you still got a shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
You got a longer shelf life with canning it than you do just dehydrating it, depending on what it is.
All right, this is going to sound like a dumbass question, but I'm going to ask it because I have no idea, because I've heard of it, but really have not looked into it. What is freeze drying? What is that?
Well, it costs about $3,000 for a setup. So, do you know anything else about it?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay, there you go.
but really, what's the process? I don't understand what the process is.
Take some moisture out, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it takes all the moisture out. I don't know that much about it, because as soon as I seen the price tag, I quit looking into it. I mean, I've ate freeze dried stuff before. A lot of stuff you buy, those Wise Foods and stuff like that, that stuff is like freeze dried. It's not dehydrated, it's freeze dried.
the dehydrator that they have is pretty much a dehydrated on mega steroids. They get it down to such a low temperature, and they run pumps in it, which starts sucking out all the moisture out of everything. So it just, when you want it, eat it years later, you just add water and the flavor is still there. It's expensive equipment to initially purchase, but instead of spending $5,000 to $10,000 on Wise Food for a 10-year supply, you can go ahead and do your own and make your own to taste. So, I mean, that's the advantage. In the long run, a freeze dryer is going to save you money if you're going to buy dehydrated food for the long haul. But you're relying on having a steady source of power.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as you got power and you can set yourself up and you can set up a whole extended family in 1 year's time to have enough food for 10 to 15 years.
Well, and that's the thing I like about canning. That's the reason our family started turning toward canning, except for the meats. That's just, to me, that's just, I don't know why, but in my head, I have it that canned meat, you shouldn't do it. But I understand you can and should, but it's my head that's saying I shouldn't. But, and if shit hits the fan, you can still fucking start a fire, get something to boil, stick some cans in there with the ingredients and get them to seal. I mean, you don't need power for that.
Okay, Blue, this is just for you. This is canned deer meat. I canned it, 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean, just pulled it right out of the thing. It's cooked. It's already right there. This is enough meat to feed a family of 4. And with a can of potatoes this size, a can of 2 meals of a family of 4. So you can eat it 2 nights in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tender. I mean, if you like barbecue beef sandwiches, all you got to do is put the barbecue sauce in it, heat it up. I mean, it's still moist. I mean, and it's fully cooked.
And so okay, well, see, and that's the thing. I've never even looked into it. So you cook it before you can it, so you're ready to go right out of the jar.
No, I'll brown it just to give it a darker color before I can it, because some people, they see red, it's like ew. But when you can it, you pressure can it, it fully cooks in the can.
Okay.
So when you open it up, I mean, it's done. I mean, the top of it was out of the water and everything. It's still moist flavor. I mean, I can either throw that in with potatoes or make pulled like barbecue beef sandwiches out of it.
Yeah, you got to cook it like 90 minutes. When you're doing meat, you got to do it like 90 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the size of the can.
So, yeah, you put it in there. That's what I went and grabbed. There's my chicken. It may not look appetizing, but I know you can't really see it as good as I can. But I put that in there. That can was, I mean, this jar was, there's nothing in it. I didn't add any water. All that is the fat and moisture out of the chicken that you see in there. But that stuff it's actually really good. It's really, like I said, I put the, I don't know, I bought the pickling salt.
What's in there?
What's that?
That's chicken?
Yep. It's little drumlets, like you would get like chicken wings, the little drumlets. I just crammed as many in there as I could and cooked it. And this is probably about 3 or 4 years old. I probably need to rotate my stock.
I was going to say, can you pull that out and eat it just like Chris or not Chris?
Yeah, I could.
Just did his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't want you to do it. See, and that's a see right there's that mental block right there. It's like, I don't want to see you do it because it's meat. It shouldn't be.
Well, I tell you what, I've bought oysters. I like oysters too. I bought oysters out of the grocery store. The date on it was 4 years from the day I bought it in a can. If a manufacturer can put a date 4 years ahead on cooked oysters, I'm pretty sure I'm okay with 3 or 4 years on some chicken that I can't, because oysters would be way worse than this chicken but I mean, the top is still sucked in. You gotta make sure you don't, if you push that top and it pops back at you, throw that away. This top is still sucked in hard.
Blue, you can can anything. I've taken like apple cider that was turning into vinegar, and it's like, oh, what the heck? When I was a younger kid, I just put a little bit of sugar in it, and I canned it. 2 years later, I popped it open, and I got drunk.
See, and that's my downfall is whenever I first started canning, I hate saying I read too much, but I actually did. And I heard of the horror stories. I think it's botulism or some shit like that, like with tomatoes and peppers and shit like that. And they're like, oh, you can only save this for, no more than 9 months, 12 months at max. So like every year, whenever, like once it gets to that 9-month time, I'll pop it open. It still looks good. It smells open. The seal's good. And I don't care. It gets tossed out and I'll start canning again. I mean, should I be saving it? I mean,
like I said, I mean, this I should have already ate, probably, just because what happens is the flavor level goes down and the nutritional value goes down, but it's still good. I mean, I've read articles where they have, like 50, 60 years later, shit that was canned during Civil War they opened it. They found some and they opened it up. It was safe to eat. The flavor level was like almost zero. The nutritional value was way down, but it was still safe to eat. As long as you can it properly, you can eat this shit 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, you know?
And Blue, where they run into botulism is during the bath canning. Pressure canning, the heat gets up high enough where it kills all that bacteria and those germs. Nothing lives.
Okay. No, it's just it's one of those deals where once I hate saying it like that, it's not, well, actually it is kind of, I guess, a form of OCD, but once I see one bad article, I have to read up on that instead of going back and starting over and, you know, doing the versus good versus bad. So I got to get that out of my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, like this, if you know, and this is not scientific or whatever, but if something's been canned for several years and you open it up and it smells good, it looks okay. And to be honest, almost any canned meat don't look good. I mean, like what Daniel had, that was fine. But if you open up a can of corned beef hash or barbecue that's in a tin can, none of it looks good in a cold can. It looks like, oh, no, I can't eat that. I don't care how fresh it is. Canned meat don't look right. You know what I mean? Then, but once you cook it and the fat kind of dissolves and all that, then it'll look fine. And I hadn't had any problems. Like I said, this cap is sucked in hard. But if I opened it up and it didn't smell right, yeah, toss it. You know?
Blue, just man up, man.
If you knew my stomach, you would not say that.
This is coming from a man that's ate MREs for 6 months straight. Trust me, anything I've canned tastes much better than any MRE that I've ate. And that shit's in plastic bags and is like guaranteed, what, 5 to 10 years shelf life? I got 20-year-old MREs I'd open up and eat right now. As long as the damn bag wasn't puffed out.
I'll top you off 5 years in China in the early 90s with no refrigeration. Most of the places I ever went. Never got sick once, though. Sorry about that, TR. Let me mute myself. I don't know what's going on.
Heck, I got my last roll of trail bologna from last year. I just broke it out the other day.
Now, wait a minute. Okay, now wait. Bologna.
Yeah.
Canned it? You did, like, you cooked the bologna, then canned it?
No, I vacuum packed that.
Okay.
Yeah, that went into vacuum pack, and that keeps it fresh like it just came back from the butcher. So we're on our last piece of trail bologna from my wife's deer.
All right. Because I love freaking deer bologna, but there again, I only make like 5 pounds of it at a time because whenever I make it, I'm going to eat it. But I didn't realize that you could, because I've done it before where I've made more, and then I don't want to say vacuum packed it, but not even close to vacuum packed it. I double bag it in freezer bags. Yeah. I already see, you know what I'm talking about, because I took it out like maybe 2-3 months later, and
oh no. This, I mean, I have mine made by Amish, and they vacuum pack that stuff. So when you break that thing open, it is as fresh as the day it came out from the butcher. That's the only way. If you're going to, I mean, the trail bologna costs too much money to have made.
right.
But you can vacuum pack. I mean, well, you can trail bologna if you wanted to do that. You can can anything.
Right.
Shit, if they can can haggis, you can pretty much can anything, dude.
All right, Scotsman, tell us what the official terminology of haggis is.
It depends. Do you want the American haggis or you want the Scottish haggis?
No, absolutely Scottish.
The Scottish one, of course, Mike.
Well, Well, Scottish haggis, if you go traditional, and the reason that America does not allow it is because pretty much kind of like you, Blue, they freak out and say, well, you can get sick from this and this and this, or you can get cancer, blah, blah, blah. I've been eating for years. There ain't squat wrong with me. Well, kind of.
Tell them what it's made out of.
I think American food screwed up my stomach. But anyway, you have heart, lungs, brain, liver, and then grains, and it's all stuffed and pretty much steamed in a sheep's stomach.
Nope, I'll die.
Well, in the freezer section down here in the South, there are, I don't know, what are they, 2 or 3 gallon buckets, basically plastic buckets in the freezer section. You can buy chitlins.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
If we sell chitlins and also is it pig or rabbit brains are on the shelf in the can section of the meat,
Sweetbread.
one of the two. Actually, haggis is not as bad as eating intestines, I don't think. So,
Blue, do you like spicy sausage?
I don't like sausage.
Okay. Well, haggis is basically like, it tastes like spicy sausage. That's what it tastes like.
God, I'm gonna die. If the world ends, I'm gonna die.
I
I better be able to go out and shoot.
One of those things, Blue, if you ate it and nobody told you what it was, you probably think this is pretty righteous, you know, and then they tell you it's like game over. It's like,
I will agree with that comment that you just made, Rosie, because whenever I was a kid, you know, we always lived in the woods. You know, that's the way it was. We hunted, we did this. I went to my buddy's house and we had dinner, and after dinner, everybody's like, "Oh, you know, how was everything?" You know, there was a meat, there was a potato and carrots or corn, you know, something like that. And I was like, "Man, that was really good." And I was like, you know, no issues. That was a good meal. Well, you just ate a groundhog, dude. At the time, I about shit myself. I mean, it was, oh my God, I just ate a groundhog. I mean, that's how brain, I mean, it's up here. I mean, if I have to live, I'm sure I can eat an asshole out of a dead, you know, cow. But I didn't know what it was. And it was the greatest thing. It was good. It was really, really good. As soon as they told me what it was, I wouldn't pick up another piece.
See, and that's the thing, like with haggis, for example, I won't tell someone what they're eating first. I'll wait till they try it and then explain what they just ate.
there you go.
well,
Because basically, like I said, it tastes like spicy sausage. So if they like spicy sausage, they're gonna like haggis.
Well, I know as a teenager, I hadn't eaten none in a long time. I used to go squirrel hunting a lot. And, you know, and I'd skin it and prepare it, and my grandma would cook it. And I ate a bunch of squirrel as a teenager, and a squirrel ain't nothing but a rat with a fuzzy tail. So I ate rat.
I'll tell you what, fried chitlins and crack. Oh, man, that's good. Ooh.
It all tastes like chicken.
Well, I heard that, yeah, chitlins, if they're fried, they're pretty good. Boiled, they're not really good.
No, I wouldn't eat them boiled. Fried, they're good, but boiled, forget about it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too, yeah.
Yeah, we had raccoon, but that was real greasy.
See, this is how much of a sheltered life I live. I have asked the wife, and we are bound for, I don't know, the next couple of weeks. We're going to a place that serves frog legs, because I've never had frog legs, and that's something I want to try. And me and food, no, like leftovers, like we can't cook a meal and then the next day me reheat it and eat it. I can't. It's here. It's all it is. It's right here. But
you can ask them to take the meat off the legs and just give you a little pile of meat. You could try that and see. It's pretty good. It's not that exotic, really. It tastes pretty good.
Frog legs, and I've ate crocodile. It does have a chicken taste to it, but also a little bit of a fishy taste to it. It's a strange taste, but I mean, the chicken taste is the majority of what you taste, but then you get a hint of like a fish taste.
Well, you just caught Blue at the fish part. He was all good through, through the chicken part, and then just hit the gate on there.
No. I mean, it makes sense because what was it? 806 Traveler just put down frog legs taste swampy to me. So, you know, the texture is like chicken, but the taste is fishy. I mean, that makes sense to me. And I love seafood. I mean, that's not an issue.
You get a more chicken taste, but like a fish, but there's a fishy taste texture to it too. Frog legs not as much as crocodile. Not crocodile. Alligator. I don't know if I said crocodile, but alligator, I got more of a fishy texture and taste than the frog legs. The frog legs, the texture and taste was more like chicken, but you still had a little bit of fishy taste or smell to it as well.
Yeah, let them fry it up for you, Blue. Those frog legs, it'll be good.
That's what I did. My grandma, that's what she did. She fried them up. She fried frog legs.
Hey, Blue, you like sushi?
I was just going to say that sushi, not so much. However, like two weeks ago, I ate an eel. That was awesome.
So eel is fantastic. I don't know if you ever had octopus or squid.
Man, I love that.
Okay, but basically frog legs, at least from what I've tried, I don't know, I don't think I had mine fried, but they may be a little bit different fried, but it's kind of the same kind of texture almost as like a squid or octopus type deal.
Basically, at least in America, I know there might be some poisonous stuff in some other countries. I don't know. But if it moves, you can probably eat it in America. It may not be the best tasting stuff. You could eat possum, raccoon, squirrel, crow. I don't care. If it son of a bitch moves, you could probably eat it if you cook it.
No, I've ate rabbit, I've ate groundhog, I've ate squirrel, pheasant. Oh my God, pheasant. If you guys have not had pheasant, like you go out, you shoot it, you clean it and eat it, you got to go shoot yourself a pheasant. Oh my God, that was the best. And apparently, like restaurants in like New York and like big ass cities, they charge people a ton for like a pheasant meal. And it's so good.
Yeah, we got one restaurant and hey, what the fuck, SoCal? We'll let you introduce yourself in just a second. We got one restaurant here in Greenville, and I think that's about all they serve. They probably do serve, steak or whatever too, but they have like ostrich and just buffalo, all these exotic kind of meats and stuff. I hadn't got to check it out yet. I think I'll check it out here pretty soon. Just for the heck of it. They've been there forever. I just hadn't got around to going checking it out. But different oddball stuff. It's more like game animals they have there, and I'm curious to go check it out. What the fuck, SoCal? Appreciate you jumping in, man.
What the fuck, SoCal? I've been saying that for like 25, 30 years now.
Thanks for your miserably humid weather up north.
Right? Good Lord, it's humid this time. I don't know what it's been.
Terrible.
Yeah, we haven't seen humidity like this in California since I was a kid, like since the 80s. That I recall, anyway. I have no recollection from pretty much 1991 till like the year 2000, but we'll talk about that later. But thanks for having me on, TR, and everybody out in the side chat. How's it going? Don't let me interrupt anything.
Oh, don't lie. You came in here because we were talking about food. Don't lie.
No, actually, we were talking about canning, and I was like a big into canning. Huge into canning, like in 2009, 2010, 2011. It was a lot of fun. It's really cool to be able to make a bitchin' meal and you're like really happy with it. I'm like, God damn, I want this to last forever. You can make it last forever. Especially the more, I didn't hear anybody mention this, maybe I missed it, but anything that's super acidic, like with tomatoes or pineapple or lemon or you name it, they actually use lemon in the canning process to make things last longer. And anything that's high acidity will actually fight the bacteria as well as the canning process itself. So you can actually extend the life of some stuff that has a fairly low acidity.
All right. Well, since you're here, and anybody else on the panel or in the external, you guys can answer this for me. I did pickles for the first time last year. They only I could have still ate them. I know I could have still ate them, but I'm going to say 6 to 7 months. And then like the next jar that I opened still had the flavor, but I didn't have that crispness. Like, you know how you bite into a pickle, it's like, it was mush. It was like, whoa. How do I fix that?
Pickles tend to get soggy.
Yeah, and you got to use, if you use like really big fat cucumbers, yeah, they'll get mushy. You want to use like little small skinny.
No, I used medium-sized cucumbers, and I halved them and quartered them.
Well, they make, and I haven't experimented with it because I made pickles and they turned out mushy after a year or two. Also, still had the same flavor. They was just a little mushy, especially in the middle, where the seeds are. But they make pickling cucumbers, and I think they stay small.
Yes,
I could be wrong on that.
No, you're right.
And I think that's the deal. The bigger they get, the more mush you're going to get if you keep them for a long time.
Yeah, I've seen that out in the external clot. What is that?
Yeah, Les is the pickle, or not the pickle king, but let's just call him the pickle king. Les, the pickle king, is no, they have been canning for decades, I believe, and any advice that spews from his pie hole or pickle hole or whatever you want to call it is probably reliable and something you can bank on. But I'm guessing use pickle crisp means there's some additive you can put in the canning process that will keep your pickles crisp.
Yes, there is. And that's what it's called, pickle crisp.
Pickle crisp or Viagra, one of the two.
One of the
two. Yeah, I just had to break out the crock pot because I opened that can of that meat. I just went ahead and threw potatoes in there, and that's the wife and kids' lunches for tomorrow and dinner. Dinner. Oh, and the more it cooks, the better it tastes.
See, and I will agree with you 100%. I don't care if you pull it out of the freezer. Never really had canned, but out of the freezer, we'll put that in at about 11 o'clock at night, right before we go to bed, and we won't eat it till 5, 6 o'clock the next day. Damn. Nothing like a deer roast that's been in there that long with potatoes, carrots, and all the other good stuff.
Yeah, what sucks about my power going out is I had it on the crock pot. I had it on warm. Had a huge crock pot, whatever it is, 5 quarts, 8 quarts. I don't know. It's pretty freaking big. I made a chicken and vegetable and rice soup, and it got ruined because my damn power went out. I had my refrigerator packed with beer, and I didn't have room to put the damn pot in there.
Sacrifice the beer or the food?
Yes, well, there's hops and stuff in here that'll keep me alive.
TR, do you have a Dutch oven?
No, yeah, I got a small one. Yes.
Well, that's about 8 briquettes. You just put it out there outside. If it's not raining, with 8 briquettes around it, you're golden.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was going through a hurricane, so I got rain.
All right. Again, I'm going to act like the idiot here because technically I am. I'm going to turn my stuff off, but I'll still be listening. Dutch oven. I've heard different explanations of that. One is you in bed with the wife, and you know.
No, dude, this is cast iron. You use briquettes on the top of it, so it acts like a little teeny oven. You put the briquettes on the top and in the bottom. You can actually put this whole device inside of like a Weber kettle, like barbecue kind of thing, and use a Dutch oven inside of a Weber kettle to retain the heat. Or if you're getting rained on, TR, just so you know.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Blue's idea better.
Okay, and if it's really raining, you take a garbage can, a metal one, and you put it over and around the Dutch oven. That keeps the rain off, so your little briquettes can keep going.
There you go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Hell, I could have stoked up the damn wood stove and set the ceramic. You know, the crock pot I got, you know, it's got the ceramic insert that the soup or stew or whatever's in, and you can, you know, transfer it to an oven or something. I got it fired up the wood stove or whatever, but it just wasn't that important. It's just like, okay, that wasted $15-20 or whatever it was, you know, but it wasn't that big a deal to worry about. It's like, okay, well, and power comes back on in a couple of days, I'll make another pot. But the beer wasn't coming out of the fridge. I was like, nope.
Taking care of priorities. I like it. Cheers, brother.
Well, when the hurricane was coming, it's like I said, I mean, seriously, I was like, I got all the food in the world. I mean, even with that chicken going bad, like I said, I got canned chicken. I got 200 or 300 pounds of rice and beans. I'm good. I got food. I got water. I got water filters.
Keep your cold.
More beer. I know eventually the beer will run out, but you know that's okay.
See, now you're talking my prepping style.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you prep the stuff that you need to actually survive, then you can waste your fucking, you know, cold spots for beer, and that's all you have to go out and buy. I mean, I mean, think about it. I mean, people that smoke, chew, drink beer, you know, I don't care what your vice is. That would be nice to, you know, make sure that you have something to last you for at least a month, hopefully. And then just, you don't have to go out and buy the stupid shit. You buy what you want.
Yeah. Even tobacco. I mean, I could last a little while. Hell, with my buddy. This is some homegrown tobacco he's chopped up for me. And I got a cigarette machine, and even that, I mean, if shit really hit the fan, yeah.
Can I ask you how that tastes, TR, that homegrown tobacco?
I hadn't tried this one. I tried his last year. It was a little bit too strong for me. I hadn't tried this yet. This is supposed to be a little milder.
Okay. Yeah, they usually will blend it with the different varieties and stuff.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's blended. There's a couple of different.
That's cool. He's so non-PC, politically correct. I like that. Yeah. It's tobacco.
Is that friend from Colorado?
I don't remember what he told me it was. I think one was something Virginian and some foreign tobacco. I don't know. It's 2 or 3 different kind of tobaccos blended. It's supposed to
didn't start with sativa or indica or anything like that.
I don't think so. No. It's supposed to be close to what maybe a Marlboro would taste like. I don't know. This is just a little bit of what he's got. He does pretty good. A Tool Monkey. He's the one that gave me that. He does pretty good growing tobacco.
How I don't know if you did a tobacco crop this year, but you did one last year. Did that turn out at all, or did it get?
Last year, hornworms got my little bitty crop, and this year I just don't get enough sunlight. This upcoming year, I'm gonna have to have a bunch of trees took down because even my solar is suffering bad. I don't even get enough sunlight for my solar to be,
Yeah, it's no good.
you know, doing what it should do. Like I said, when the power went out yesterday, it was like, hell, my batteries were already low, and I had a day or two of sunshine. They're not soaking up enough sun. I got to get rid of some trees, period.
Well, I'll tell you what, TR, you supply the beer after we're done cutting. I won't cut trees and drink because that's just not a good mix. But
well, the ones I won't cut down, they're just so close to the house, and it's like Murphy's Law thing. I can pretty much make a tree fall where I want, unless there's something valuable in the way, and then that's the way it's going to fall.
Oh well, shit. Then yeah, don't call me. Then call Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, call someone else. I ain't dealing with that shit.
You know, in the middle of the woods, I can make a tree fall within 2 or 3 feet.
Call SoCal. SoCal will come help you.
Got this, no problem.
I'm not calling Rick, but
Lots
I
of
got
rope
trees.
and some come-alongs. We can conquer anything.
Well, then you got to climb. I mean, dude, seriously, my trees are like 100-foot fucking tall.
Mm-hmm.
We got those little things, you know, the slingshots that shoot the little string that goes up in there. You throw the string over, then pull the rope up with that, tie it around a tree, bring it back to a come along. I watched my dad do this 100 times. We got this, no problem.
Yeah, I got several I need to take down. There's no doubt. And for those kind of new to the channel, the little joke about Rick is Rick cut a tree down and it fell on his house, and he called me, and me and him got it off his house.
That was a funny video. I hate seeing stuff like that happen to people that I know, but whenever it's people I don't know, you fucking sit there and laugh. So I still had to laugh. I mean,
but the thing about it is, it fucked up his gutter a little bit. Maybe scuffed up a few shingles. But it was so funny when I got there. It was like, what the fuck?
that was a dead shot right on the house. I mean, it wasn't like a glancing blow. I'll tell you, the one time, like I've only got an acre and a half, but most of it's woods. So the one summer, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go out and I'm going to clear it. And same thing, like what you guys are talking. I went up as high as I could on a ladder, tied a rope off, did it come along, did all that shit, and I still fucking put a tree across the one main road. You talk about shit yourself. I mean, it was the whole way across the road, and I live on a blind curve on a hill. I was out there fucking cutting that thing up as fast as I could, and we ended up, the neighbor saw what happened. He come running down, and we had it cut up and thrown up on the bank before a single car come through. But I was like, holy shit. That would have been a lawsuit for sure.
You couldn't just take the old car out there and throw on the blues and twos and call it good?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You couldn't just take the old car out there and get the old blues and twos going and get it chopped up and pull it off the road before anyone came across?
No, I didn't have anything that big at that time. Still don't. I got a family. I have to have a big ass sedan to carry everybody around in. I don't have a big truck.
Now we hear the crickets.
Road flares are for that.
I got a ton of those.
There you go.
It never crossed
You were
my mind.
warned.
Never crossed my mind to grab them.
Hey,
Well,
so
the problem I have with where the woods I have, it's like, I've showed it in some videos. Maybe, I don't know. It's like I got so many trees, they're competing for sunlight. So there's like not many limbs on them, and they just fucking sprout out trying to compete with each other, trying to find some sunlight. And I got some tall fucking trees. I'm not saying they're redwoods, don't get me wrong, but for South Carolina, I got some tall fucking trees.
Sounds like you need some napalm, man.
Yeah, well, I think I'm just gonna call tree service next year. Get an estimate. If they can, they don't even have to dispose of them. I was like, look, just get these trees down, leave them there. I'll deal with them. If you can do this for a couple $1,000, do it. You know.
Hey, SoCal, I got a question for you.
I might answer you.
Is blurry vision or double vision any sign of botulism? Oh, wait a minute. I just got to put my glasses on. That's better.
Honestly, I couldn't.
That was for Blue. He's all worried about that. I ate that meat out of the can earlier.
I tell you what, if you start puking and fucking violent diarrhea, that's a good sign.
No, that was last week when I ate a green potato. I had to throw a whole batch of stuff out I canned that day because there was a green one in there. Yeah, if you don't know about green potatoes, it's poison.
Yeah, you gotta age that stuff. We talked about that last time. I did not know that until I started growing them, and my wife, thank God, kind of looked it up, like how do you harvest a potato or something like really clever like that. And I was all like, these potatoes feel really weird. They're like super hard to cut.
What happens if you don't put the dirt up around them? And after they're growing really good, you got to hill them in again to keep the sunlight off of them.
I didn't even get that fancy. I had like back when I was SoCal Preppers, back in the good old days. I had a garden, and there's a few channels that I watched. I can't remember the names of them now, but they showed you how to like super easy ways to grow like onions and celery. You just basically cut the root off, the root end off of a celery stalk that you buy at the grocery store and stick it in the ground. It'll fucking grow. Same with onions or garlic, you name it. You can do that and it'll just start growing, at least here in Southern California. And basically I had some sweet potatoes, not yams, but actually sweet potatoes that I had in the, we have this like basket of like root cellar type vegetables. And this thing kind of started growing limbs, and I'm like, fuck it, let's just cut this thing up. We planted it. And like 6 months later, we had, a 3x3 area of like wild friggin' sweet potatoes. We had like maybe 20 of them that I dug up, and I'm like, hell yeah, we got potatoes forever. So I pulled them out of the ground, and we're like, we're having sweet potato something tonight. So I started cutting into them, and like, these don't feel right. I've never felt a potato that was this like rigid. It was like cutting into a block of wood. And she's like, yeah, let's not eat these tonight. You're supposed to let them sit for like a week to 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks is better. Yeah, there you go. Way to go, honey. Learn something new every day.
I've never heard about letting them sit. I always think if they're green, they got too much sun. I've been raising potatoes since I was a kid. As far as sitting a week or two, that's new to me.
Oh,
tell me more.
That's all I know. That's all I know, man. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
That's all the wife told him.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do the homework. She did, and she's not here right now, so.
She wasn't mad at you and said, don't worry about that green stuff, honey. Just eat that fresh fry.
Yeah, Linda said they really need a cure for 3 weeks or so. Yeah. It's the same thing with onions. I mean, if you pull onions out, from what I've seen in videos, I've never had any luck growing onions. But, you need to pull them and let them sit, kind of like let them air out and actually like cure out or whatever. You just don't pull them right out of the garden and eat them.
I think the sugars have to like settle or something. It's kind of like an avocado, I guess, even though they're basically not even related or even close. But like avocados, they don't come ripe off the tree. You have to pick them and then let them do their thing where all the chemistry kind of settles down and starts to do some other shit after it starts to die. So I guess it's the same deal.
I know it's not a root vegetable or anything like that, but with tomatoes, the first couple of years I did a garden, I found that I was wasting more tomatoes because I would try to let them on the vine until they turned red, and then they'd split or they'd do something. But I read a couple articles where they're like, you know, whenever you're growing a tomato garden, once they start turning color, like they go from green to like an orange, you pick them at that point in time. You put them in a basket with all those other tomatoes, and you cover them with like newspaper or something, and somehow the chemical reaction makes them ripen themselves. I've been doing that for 2 years now, and holy balls, I get more tomatoes than anything. You go out and pick them early so they don't split, and they ripen themselves. And I never knew that. So I mean, if people are having issues with tomatoes, try that. I mean, I've 2 years now. I've had luck. I've got 2 bushel baskets right behind me. Both of them are almost halfway full of yellowish, orangish tomatoes. And every time they ripen to a pure red with very little damage. I mean, I have to throw a couple out because some of them do go bad, but I'd never heard that before. But whenever I started it really started working well.
Well, you know, another thing one Big Johnson put it up there about another thing you can do with potatoes and keeps the, you know, windshield, but try that on your eyeglasses too. It'll keep them from fogging up.
Remember when I used to scuba dive, I used to hawk a loogie into my mask and just smear it.
Well, just take a potato in your dive bag.
I wish I had a potato at the time, because I thought the whole ritual was fairly disgusting.
Gel shaving cream too, and wipe it off and buff it, and then you'll keep it from fogging.
And if you take a green one, a shark comes after you, at least then you can poison the shark.
Yeah. Anybody do a gun check yet?
No, I don't think anyone's done a gun check yet.
All right,
what the hell?
Yeah, I happen to have a rifle right here. I was fucking around with it.
One, two.
Regular home defense gun.
Here go the boys. Here we go.
All right.
It's a 6-hour P238.
Thanks for keeping us in check, SoCal.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
That's right.
I'm lucky. I keep one in every room.
It's handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm on the air and I need a gun check.
Yeah.
Detroit.
You look around. I had to look. Oh, there it is. There's one.
There's not a room in this house I don't have a gun, which is like totally not legal in California, but it's only illegal if somebody breaks into my house and uses it in a crime or hurts themselves with it. So all I have to do is just keep them out of my house at the time.
So,
hey,
well, that's easy. Just grab one of the many guns that you have in one of the many rooms and shoot them, and you're good.
It's a fair gunfight at that point too, because California, it's like you're allowed to shoot somebody in your house, but only if they can shoot you back.
Frickin' California.
So what you're saying is you're not allowed to shoot somebody that's breaking in your house in California. So after you shoot him, you got to drag him out and put him outside the house?
No. That's even worse. Because if you shoot him outside the house, he's not a threat.
No, you got to drag him inside the house. You can't drag him outside the house.
Yeah, exactly.
You can drag him in, then back out. Drag him in, then back out again.
See, that's a good thing about.
You know, you can just leave them bleed on the floor. The bio guys will come by and clean the fucking mess up after the investigation, I'm sure.
Investigative team will clean up the crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good thing about living in a stand your ground state. You know, sorry, SoCal.
Yeah.
But
well, don't get me wrong here, TR. I mean, let me make it clear. I'll just not dumb it down, but just make it as simplistic as possible. If somebody breaks into my house buck naked with a wet paper roll, like a newspaper wadded up and say, "I'm going to kill you," theoretically, you're not going to get off from a civil or a murder trial if you shoot them, because the fight is just not fair. If the guy breaks in with a baseball bat, okay, you got a good kill. If he comes in with a big knife or a machete, it's a good kill. But on conversely, if the guy's like 250 and my size or like Coda Boy size, and just a big man and goes against my wife, even if he's buck naked, my wife's only 5'2", weighs 130, soaking wet, so. Yeah, there's not a fair fight there. She could shoot the guy, not a question. She'd get off, no problem. But if I go against a guy like Rick's size, I'm larger than him. No offense to Rick if you're watching, bro. And I shoot him buck naked with a wet paper towel roll or whatever, I'm going to jail.
Luke,
Just not a fair fight.
Well, hold on. I gotta interrupt for just 1 second. I'm sorry, Daniel. At least the wet.
You're stuck on Rick naked, aren't you? Yeah. You just take that dream and keep it to
California.
yourself. There's a lot of fucking people who take drugs out here, man. You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh, I've lived there. I know.
But South Carolina don't have the best gun laws, but we have pretty decent self-defense gun laws, and we do have the stand your ground. It doesn't matter if I'm in my yard, if I'm in my house, if I'm on the sidewalk, if I'm in a motel. It doesn't matter where you're at. You don't have to retreat. You have no duty to retreat. If somebody comes at you, you do not have to run. You do not have to back down. You don't. It's no duty to retreat.
Yeah, so there's no duty to retreat.
If they come at you with fist or whatever, you have a legal right to use deadly force if necessary. I'm not saying you got a license to fucking kill, but you don't have to back down and you don't have to run.
Yeah, we don't have to run. We used to have to run, but the law changed sometime in the 80s, I believe. But again, it has to quote unquote be a fair fight, which is fucking dumb. I'll agree with you there. The fair fight is the one you might lose. The one where you have an upper hand is the one you're going to win, right? And that's what we're all about. But yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you still gotta, I mean, somebody just can't walk onto your property, or if they pass you in the sidewalk and they say, fuck you, you can't just shoot them. I mean, they have to, but if they come at you physically, it doesn't matter that I got a 9mm or a 45 and they just got their fist. If they come at me and the only way I can stop them is deadly force, the law's on my side.
Right. And theoretically in California, say somebody breaks into my house naked. This big guy walks into my house naked.
Hold on. I gotta stop you, man.
Grabs my TV off my wall, unplugs it, and just ignores everything I say. Stop it, put it down, you had better stop. I can't go after him with a bat if he's not a threat to me. He can pick up my television off my wall and walk out the door with it. There's not a fucking thing I can do about it except for call the police.
Hey, SoCal, why do you keep going to a fucking naked guy?
Because he watches your video 5 times.
There's no body armor. There's no weapon. I'm just using the naked guy because that's as bare bones, no pun intended, as you can get. Let's say you walk into my house.
Sorry, man. I'm not the only one. There's people in the side chat asking too. What is up with the fucking naked guy?
Hey, man. I don't know. Sorry,
California, man. California.
Whatever.
Theoretical.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know.
We've learned 2 lessons today.
I think even in my state, in South Carolina, there'd be a fine line. You have the right to protect your property, but yeah, I couldn't shoot somebody for stealing a TV out of my house. I could get in the way of him leaving my house, maybe, and confront him, her, who, whatever. And then if they tried to push me out of the way or whatever, then I could maybe consider that a threat and act on that. But just somebody just flat out stealing something out of my yard or my house, and they wasn't threatening me, so that's where you get into that gray area. But far as a threat to me, yeah, I could act. So I guess the only way I could get away with that is if I put myself in between me and them leaving the premises. And if they attack me to get out of to get out, then you might have a case that you could defend. But that's kind of getting into a gray area a little bit.
I think you're all making it too complicated. We've learned two things tonight. One, SoCal watched the Crazy Scotsman's last video 5 times in a row in slow motion, and he's traumatized again and again. And the second lesson, it doesn't matter what state you live in. If you already have the hole dug, problem solved.
Well, the thing about it
Have a large
is,
bucket of acid, even better.
The last 1.5 seconds in that video sucked enormously for me, and I only watched it once just for your information. And I'm not going to comment on the other part of that equation.
And you're welcome.
well, I know it's my chat, and I probably shouldn't say this, but if you're the only eyewitness there,
Exactly. I posted it in the external. It's not what you do, it's how you say what you did.
I was
That's
afraid
true.
for my life.
That's a good phrase right there. But if there's no blood and no body, just
I was going to say, if there's nothing to show any evidence, it's fair game.
No, I live
I
out
want to
of
tell you real briefly. I'm kind of bragging a little bit. I don't know if I should or not, but
He's got dead bodies on his property.
no,
he feeds them to chickens.
actually, probably worse.
That's where he gets the drum nuggets from.
Actually, that video that went, for me, it went viral, but semi-viral. Oh my God! At the damn comments, and I did make a couple of stupid replies to a few of them. It's 1,800 comments, 90 fucking thousand views. Oh my God, that damn thing blew up. I know y'all. I think y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was a just a normal gun video up until the very end in like a
Up until the title.
catchphrase.
Hey man, if you stay on top of that video and comment actively and get people engaged in conversations with each other, that'll just keep going. But the way the YouTube black box work is you need to keep people engaged. You need to be engaged in it, and they need to be engaged with you and the other people watching. As long as that takes place, it'll keep going.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I got pissed at a few people, and I shouldn't have. And I made smart ass remarks, and I probably shouldn't have done that. But because I mean, it took off, and it was like, one day it was at 600, and it's like, oh shit, that took off, and then it was 1,000, and then it was 2,000, and then it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I was like, holy fuck. And so a lot of them I just put, I mean, they made like some shitty comments, and I'd just be like, thanks for the view.
You're gonna have to try harder than that, bro.
Last, what was it, January, December, I made a lemon meringue pie, and that thing was going along 30, 40,000 views an hour on that stupid thing. I don't know how they take off and stuff, but it's insane. All you do is just sit there and watch it and wonder, what the hell, it can't be that many people interested in a lemon meringue pie.
Rosie, it's the tits. Whenever
I think it probably was, but it was funny to watch anyway, and I know what TR is talking about.
There's no rhyme and reason to when a video takes off.
Yeah.
It just like it because that I usually have like maybe average 300 views, not average, but just normal videos. I was just doing that video for Blue and Coda Boy and SoCal, the people that normally watch my shit. And then all of a sudden, this sumbitch somehow got put on the suggested list, and everybody is like, "What the fuck?" I did a goofy video, my normal style. I'm just out there fucking off, thinking that 200 or 300 people are going to watch this, that watch all some of my videos. And it took off, and everybody's like, I mean, I have the people, I'm reporting you. You made a fucking threat and just all kind of shit. I mean, I to be honest, I still hadn't seen all the damn comments because there's like fucking 1,800 of them. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Let me ask you this, TR. You did that video kind of, I mean, it was a gun video with a twist at the end. And then I think like a week later, within a week, you did a video that basically called Antifa out. What's the view rate? You know what I mean? Like,
I think the second video I did where I was saying, well, thank you, Antifa, and blah 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 for pushing me over the top. Yeah, like 1,100 views.
No shit.
Yeah, it went from 90,000 to 1,100.
So where you did a fun video as just a play to do it versus an actual calling them out is drastic. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people thought, they thought like, oh, you directly fucking threatened me and stuff. And I'm like, I was out there just goofing off. I was like fucking all giddy and shit because my buddy's gun is like fun as fuck to shoot. So I was laughing and cutting up. And I said like 2 or 3 sentences that were serious. And all these people just went like fucking ape shit. And I'm like, you haven't watched my channel. I mean, this is what I do. How many videos have you seen me do where I didn't smile and laugh?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, you was fucking drunk as shit. And I was like, no, I was just kind of like feeling goofy. I was just like, I got this fucking 9-inch fucking barreled 9mm with a shoulder stock on it or arm brace. And I just thought it was fun as fuck,
Well, that's the problem. Like a lot of the times these guys will do that. They'll only comment on the one video. They won't watch anything else but that one video.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's what happened.
That's the normal.
It's obvious. It's obvious because of the live chats after. They want to make the comments. They want to be the keyboard hero, but yet you're on live twice a week, and not a single fucking one of them has had enough balls to come in here to say anything. That's Antifa. Woohoo.
Yeah, and the few that I would have tried to comment back at, and because I've seen so many mean comments. I mean, for the most part, don't get me wrong. The overwhelming majority, people supported it. But it's just that little 10% or whatever it is that's, just like fucking going ape shit over it. A few of them I commented back to, and it was like, they always try to turn shit around. They're scam artists and just make me pissed off even more. And I learned is like, don't pander to them. If anything, just insult them back and just say, thanks for the view. Thanks for watching. Just fucking piss them off even more and leave it at that. Because a few that I did try to interact with, they would just try to keep going and going and going and going. It's like, no, that's what you want. No, fuck you. But it did push me about another 500 subs. I'm about at 5,000 subs now, and they pushed me over 1 million views overall on my videos. I know it's not. Some people have videos that's hell. Might have one video that went 1 million. I don't get that kind of viewership. So 1 million views, about to hit 5,000 subs. It's kind of a big deal for me. I mean, I'm a small channel. I consider myself.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, you do good stuff. Don't sell yourself short, you know.
I think you're a pile of shit, TR, but I still love you.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
okay.
You are talking to bullshit.
Are we telling the truth here? What are we?
One thing that I miss about your channel is your simple preps. I wish you would get back to that every now and again. I really do. Like your what the hell is it?
He should do a 2-minute prep Tuesday or 2-minute prep Tuesday or something. Just a quick 2-minute vid, just spot on for prepping in a little nutshell. One thing a week, I think would be great.
I do need to do those again. You know, sharpening a knife with a fucking coffee mug and shit like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I stole your one video completely. I bought the whole setup that you did, except you got the Homer buckets and I got some other buckets. And I think I even told you, I think it was like 1.5 years ago, hey, I'm going to redo this, even though you did it, just because how awesome it is. That video, it was like, holy shit, how many, I can't believe that many people tuned in to watch it. But it's a simple prep that gets you water. You know, I mean, that was awesome. I do. That's the one thing that I wish you would kind of get back to, is spreading your knowledge of prepping. Yeah,
especially in a real concise way.
Yeah, I think you're right, Blue. Yeah. I guess it just kind of like been there, done that, and you just kind of forget about it. But I do need to get back to that. I do call myself prepper, so I guess I should do that a little bit more often. Now that I got a bigger audience, you know.
Well, hell, right now you got a fucking a jar of canned chicken. That's a perfect fucking video right there.
Yeah, so forget Bacon Fest. All right.
I mean, seriously.
Live video. This thing's been around for 3 years. We're going to open it and we're going to eat it right here.
Yep.
The video I need to make of canning, and I think and there's probably thousands of them out there, is how to can bacon.
Remember Ammo Head 42?
Do what now?
Remember Ammo Head 42? When he canned bacon?
I've seen many people can bacon. He may have been one of the ones I watched.
He made a funny video canning bacon, but never mind. Never mind. Move along. Nothing to see here.
But I need to can some bacon because, you know what? You just can't beat. I mean, you got the bacon grease, you got the bacon, and I mean, eating bacon is almost like having an orgasm anyway. I need to do a bacon canning video.
Do you do it with the wax paper?
Yeah, that's
the way. Just jam it in there. Yeah,
no,
wax paper's the way to roll.
Yeah.
Way to roll. No pun intended. Bacon roll. You go vertical or you go horizontal?
I mean, yeah, horizontal. Well, yeah, well, up and down, whatever. Vertical.
Sounds interesting.
Because I mean, could you imagine? I mean, even a pint jar of this solid fucking bacon in there, you could trade that for a man's wife for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
If the shit hit the fan bad enough, it'd be like, well, give me 2 hours with your wife and you can have this can of bacon or jar of bacon. He'd be like, fuck, just bye, go. I'm good.
And that's the other thing. I mean, with the prepping videos and stuff, just like what you're talking about, you have that jar of bacon. You know, the bacon you can eat, The grease you can use for this, the fat you can use for this. I mean, it could go on forever. And a lot of people, I mean, I don't know most of it. I know some of it, but you put it out on a video. I mean, damn.
Well, you know what? Fuck the rebel flag. Lavona, you're out of here.
Uh-oh, somebody's going to get the boot.
That's the first person I ever booted in. You're
Oh man, I was just getting ready to fire her off.
I had to shout. Don't ever say that on here. You're out of here.
I've been checking on some of the new folks. There is a lot of new people that don't have anything in there, but they're being polite, really. They're not being any more obnoxious than we are. So I think there's a lot of people checking you out, TR.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't have content that are respectful and actually interested in what's going on. And I actually think the Tuesday night chat, at least when Rosie's here, and I'm not bitching, Rosie. You got a life too. You do what you got to do. We cover economics, news, politics, guns, prepping, and then this bullshit. We cover the entire spectrum of what's going on. Because if you're a normal person, all those things affect you. And in the end, usually near the end of the chat, we'll just start bullshitting. At the beginning of the chat, we'll be serious for a little while. And then we'll slowly transition over to, bullshit. Yeah, we need to do this on a chat or on your channel or whatever it is. And I think that's what makes it successful. I mean, we cover a very broad range of topics, and any topic is doable. I mean, if somebody brings up a really good point in the comment section, we'll talk about that.
I like it. Sometimes it's very philosophical some nights, and other nights it's very analytical and guns and prepping. I like that. It can be anywhere. Politics. It's been over 2 years. So.
Yes, well, we got 2 retired Navy guys here. A chef in California. Some Scotsman.
Not a chef.
You're not a chef?
I play one on YouTube. Well, I used to anyway.
Well, all right. It's up at the Holiday Inn Express, and we got a police officer.
Hey, let me tell you, if you go to geico.com, you can save 15% on your car insurance.
There you go. Just got a smile on your face.
Yeah. And we got some financial expert. I mean, it's all walks of life.
There we go.
I'm a computer geek. I'm a network engineer.
You're a nerd.
Yes.
Booting.
No nerd in California.
No nerds. Out of here.
Hey, I'm a nerd with a lot of cool guns, so fucking cut me some slack, bro.
Yeah.
With fucking 10 rounds.
Yeah, less than 10
Oh,
rounds.
hey, they're still cool guns regardless.
It's only because we love you, man.
Yeah, I called SoCal on one of the
So-called.
Yeah, so-called. Yeah, I was calling him that for a while. So-called. Called him cooking breakfast, and he didn't. Well, that's what he said, and I kind of believe him because it was a long night. Called him cooking breakfast at Farmageddon, and he was like, "I don't even remember that video."
I don't. I have no recollection of it whatsoever. I think I was still drunk.
Well, I think we all were.
We shoot till the sun goes down, and then we all start drinking. We never mix the 2 activities. And then 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, we're all just like, really? Sun's coming up in like 3 hours. Maybe we should get a little sleep. And then next thing I know, campfire's going again. Shit. Fucking breakfast, I guess. Get out of bed, stumble over to the barbecue, fire it up, get some breakfast.
It was a simple breakfast. I popped the camera in front of him and I was interviewing him, and he was like, blah, 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 whatever. And then when the video come out, it's like, I don't even remember that.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't care who was there. Like, I mean, I was probably one of the bigger drinkers there. We still woke up in the morning. We sobered up. I mean, it was whenever we actually got to shooting, it was later, like 11, 12, maybe 1 p.m. But I mean, it was still, everybody burned it off, and there were no, that was awesome. That was awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
So SoCal still sitting there thinking, okay, I'm the goddamn cooking channel. Why the fuck am I sitting here cooking breakfast? God damn it.
No, actually, I enjoy doing that kind of shit. Anybody,
Awesome.
food to me is like a, kind of like the proverbial olive branch. It's like, if I can hand it to anybody and make them smile and feel happy, it made my day.
No, it was awesome because the chili. I mean, I love breakfast. Don't get me wrong. That was awesome. That chili, it looks scary at times. At the times I checked on the chili, I like looked at it, I'm like, oh my God.
Poor Blue. Can you imagine feeding Blue all the time?
No.
So scary. This is awful.
He was dumping shit in that chili all day long. I mean, there was like orange juice. I saw, I don't remember all of it.
I know.
Oh, mashed potatoes. And I'm
sometimes it's better not to look, right? So, Cal, sometimes it's better just to.
Yeah, just wait for the end result, baby.
Oh man,
chocolate and mashed potatoes, orange juice. You just wait; it'll be better. I promise.
Yeah, the couple of times I walked by, I mean, the one time was the orange juice. The one time was the mashed potatoes. And I think after you added the mashed potatoes, there was like this layer on top of everything. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is that? And I'm looking in, but oh my God.
Oh, that was the tortillas. Yeah,
that good. I used to say my mom used to make the best chili, and Mom, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, you still make the best chili. However,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That was awesome.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. When people say things back to me like that, all the effort is so worthwhile. That makes me fucking giggly and stupid all over.
California.
Well, that was one thing about that weekend. I mean, we ate good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a lot of fun. We shot guns and all that. But I mean, for a bunch of guys to get together, you know, you might think we were eating bologna sandwiches and blah. No, hell no. We ate like kings.
Yep. Yeah, and if nobody has checked it out, what the fuck SoCal? Is that on your WTF SoCal, or is that on a different channel where you did the $500 chili or whatever?
No, it's the $200 chili episode on Big Meat Sunday. It's on my cooking channel. I disappeared from prepping for a long time and gun stuff, and I think I quit doing gun stuff back in 2013 or 14, and decided I want to do a cooking channel on YouTube and concentrated on that for about 4 or 5 years. I think I have around 150 recipes on that channel, and then it's a lot of work doing those cooking videos. I always told people that if you have a recipe that lasts, you know, say grilling a steak, it should take no more than maybe 45 minutes tops, from lighting the charcoal to having a steak on a plate. A video like that on to do it well, and you know, I emphasize the word well, you know, with several camera angles and good audio and right lighting, blah blah blah. It takes 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
To set all that shit up. I got tired of it. Doing gun videos is so much easier. So I just got burnt out on it. But in the meantime, yeah, I have about 150 food videos out there on my Big Meat Sunday channel. So go check them out. I won't respond to comments because I pretty much abandoned the channel.
But I'll tell you guys what, if you want that recipe for the chili that we ate down there at Farmageddon, and any of us that were down there, I don't care if you like chili or not, that, oh my God, That was the best. The best. Go check out the recipe and make it.
Where's the recipe?
No, it's on that video.
Okay.
He spelled he spells it out.
Everything, even the secret stuff.
It's on your. Did you put it on your Big Meat Sunday? SoCal?
Yeah, I just posted the link in the side chat there.
Okay, let me get that.
Was it a hot chili or just?
It can be, and the way I made it, I can't actually. It was back in February when I did the video. I typically like a more spicy kind of pyrotechnic kind of chili, but when I was at the cookout, or well, the Farmageddon, I kind of took a vast array of like a the fuck word am I looking for here? I took a poll of, who likes stupid hot food and who doesn't, and most of these Southerners are like girls, so I toned it down a bit. So
yeah, it was and I'm not complaining by no means. It was almost a little sweet for me.
Oh, it was pretty sweet, but the problem is that it was missing the spicy, and now looking back on it, super hot food that's sweet, a little sweet, is delicious, but just sweet, it was kind of awkward. But it needed something salty, and I think Rick, as much as it insulted me at the time, he was right on. He poured a bag of Fritos into the bowl of his chili, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? You didn't even taste it first, and you're just pouring Fritos into that shit. But actually, it was probably killer, because you get a little bit of crispy and a little bit of salty along with that sweet flavor, and it probably ended up being really good.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not gonna bitch about it at all. It was good.
You're right, though. You're right. It was kind of sweet. I might have overdosed it a little too much OJ.
That's what I was thinking, because on the East Coast, they don't really have that hot. I mean, it took me a good year to get accustomed to California Mexican food.
Oh, man, I love it. Should burn it up hot.
Oh, yeah. Them carrots, you got to eat them with a 6-pack of beer. That'd be my drive home for the night back in the day.
You want some hot food, man? Try some proper Indian food. That shit's hot.
Well, I don't like it so hot that I can't taste the food. I like warmth. I like it to be a little bit hot, and everybody's taste buds are different. So, yeah, I guess it depends. I like spicy. I like a little bit hot, but I still want to taste the food, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've ate some shit that's so hot that it's like all I taste is, pain on my mouth.
Well, I mean,
Indian food is delicious, and hot Thai food is even better.
Yeah, hot Indian food or hot Thai food for sure. I mean, you'll sweat yourself to pieces, but that food is damn tasty.
Give me Hunan. Be hot.
Yeah, I've never eaten anything too hot to eat. But then again, I know better, We went to some place, a buddy of mine who also has another YouTube channel, is a cooker guy, Ballistic Barbecue. If you ever guys, he's a great friend of mine. He's a cop, lives down in LA, or San Diego rather. His channel name is Ballistic Barbecue. He's into guns, but he also cooks, but he's not like ammo head or anything like that. But anyway, he and I went to New Orleans for a food thing. They flew us out there, and we hung out with some people and did some things, and then we flew our wives out, and we were hanging out in New Orleans, and we came across this store that was just like Joe's Pepper Shack or something like that. They had like, I don't even know how many thousands of bottles of hot sauce, but they had their own signature brand and blends and things, and they had some of the most ridiculously stupid hot sauces. I mean, it was just like hot for the sake of being hot. They didn't have flavor whatsoever. It was like You put some on a chip and ate it, and there was no flavor whatsoever. All you tasted was the corn chip, and then all of a sudden you were like bleeding from your eyes and ears. It's kind of worthless hot sauce. I like hot flavors, you know, spicy that kind of sneaks up on you, but you got to have flavor before you have the heat.
All right. It's been 2 hours. I actually started this pretty close to on time. And I'm going to let everybody do an outro. I'll skip around a little bit. Daniel, would you like to do an outro?
Oh, shit. Yeah, Daniel, God is my judge. Don't subscribe to me because I like making everybody mad. And I'm going to do that right now because global warming has been solved. It's been an argument in the side chat for a long time. It's all California's fault because of all the hot food out there and the overpopulation on the left coast. They're eating all that stuff. They're belching. They're farting. It's causing global warming. No more spices. That'll solve it all.
Scotsman, would you like to do an outro?
Well, I'm going to kind of go where he was going, but it's all Glock Gen 5's fault. It's nothing to do with California. It's Glock Gen 5. And y'all need to buy frickin' CZs.
Okay, I'll go. Well, TR's typing. So getting back to Scotsman's point, yes, it is actually all the Glock's fault, rather. It's been Glock's fault for about 2 decades at this point. They've built 5 models of handgun. They're exactly identical, except some have finger grooves and some do not. They all work exactly the same. And as far as the global warming, Daniel's absolutely correct. It is California's fault. It's all those happy cows that make all that really crappy cheese with the antibiotics, the hormones, the steroids, eating all that GMO grass and whatnot. They have incredible methane output, and not to mention the beef actually sucks as well. So yeah, thanks for having me on, TR. Everybody out in the side chat, take it easy, guys, and everybody on the panel here, I love seeing you guys. Have a good evening.
Well, appreciate you coming on. Rosie, would you like to do an outro?
Thanks again, everybody. Great to see you. Nice to meet you, Scott. It's a lot of fun. Tonight. A lot of people ask about vintage audio restoration. I am halfway through restoring a 1970 Pioneer TX750 tuner. I will be doing part 2 live in the workshop tomorrow afternoon. If you care to swing by and see me do restoration work, you'll be able to see that live tomorrow and interact on the side chat. A lot of fun tonight. Don't get mad if I stick with my Beretta 92 FS. I love it. Thanks again, TR, and everybody on the panel.
Nothing wrong with a Beretta. I can't down that at all. Scotsman, I know he's a Beretta fan for sure.
Hell yeah, right there.
Here we go.
Can't go wrong.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out and helping me do these chats. Trust me, I really appreciate when you can come on. If you can't come on, that's fine. It's no problem. But those of you that can jump on and help, make a good interactive chat, I do appreciate it. I mean, I really do. And with that, I'll see you Sunday, I guess. And take care, everybody.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one, guys.
Saturday night chats too.
Hey, California. Do it now.
So,
Do it now. Cut the thing. Get